Good evening, brothers and sisters. Glad to be back. Very short because we're trying to catch up. Anytime I get real busy, we have to catch up. And also, I want to apologize to you all for not putting the link in here about the practice, because some people have been asking about that and I hadn't did it. So I'm gonna definitely put the link on there. I apologize to you, and thank you for being interested in what we do. So we put holistic practice and products. Okay, so we got that in there. And also we have other things you can get. All you have to do is click the link, and there's so many other things there. So when you do click the link, you'll be able to see the other products and everything that's already there. So just let me say, I'm very thankful, always thankful to be here. And like I missed the here we go. Put that in there. Now there's a link in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin that link up. Like I should be able to edit right here somewhere. Be able to pin it up so that you'll have that information. Now, brothers and sisters, we want to get to the place, and we're going through all of this backlash, pass, right? And that's PAST and PASS, to be able to talk about what has happened, make identifiers, and once we know these identifiers, then we can move forward. So I say peace be unto you and assalamu alaikum. And brothers and sisters, just remember that I do love you with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. And I pray that you love your black neighbors with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And those that not strong enough to understand what you're about or the love that you have for them, then I ask you to pray for them in the power of Allah, that they will be delivered, right? And you say in the power of Jesus, you can say power of God or Jehovah, whatever you want, because I believe that all of these are the same people, same person, the same spirit that's in you all and with you all. So we don't need to get caught up. Don't ever get caught up on religion. If you get caught up on religion, then you miss the goal. The goal is salvation, right? And spiritually, we're all united. Genetically, we're all united anyway. Isn't that right? What happened to the chiefs in Africa is that they couldn't get along. Is that right or wrong? So they couldn't get along. And when the white man see us not being able to get along, he'll use us one against the other. And you have to know that. We also have Prince Imhotep University, brothers and sisters. I want to put that information down. So those that would like to attend can attend. Not very much money at all. You can go online. I'm going to give you the link, and you can do your studies by at your own will, your own desire. You can do your studies, and we want you to go to learn from Imhotep University, because there's once you've completed it, the study, and get the associates in African herbal science and medicine, then at that point we encourage you to open up your own herbal pharmacy, your own African herbal store, and we will help sponsor you to do that. The only thing that you're purchasing is your products. Everything else will come right along with it. All you got to do is show us a place that you want to open up, and you'll be able to get there. You'll certainly be able to get there. So I want to tell you that. Subon, we welcome you. And please, brother, please put all the antagonistic remarks that you want there. You want to put there, and we're going to leave it right there in the feed. Not going to worry about it. But I'm going to have to get on with the show, so I'm going to have to ignore you. And I'm sure you wouldn't mind. I'm sure you do understand. And whether you do understand or don't understand, I'm going to go on with the show anyway. So, brothers and sisters, this problem that we have, which we have to discuss it, have to discuss these different people so we can understand exactly what's going on. Our problem is that we don't understand what's going on. And for that reason, we find ourselves in the same situation that we've been in before. When we look at John Ali, the agent, he was National Press Secretary of the Nation of Islam. And not only am I saying that, right, but the government, this is what they do when they use us. When the government uses us, they'll tell on us. Isn't that right? Right? If one of us are dumb enough to go for the government, if one of us are dumb enough to do what the government says, right, to turn on our brothers and sisters, then the government's going to blow us out of the water. If you recall, one of the photographers that was a well-known photographer for the federal government, they blew him out of the water. Gordon Parks was one. There was another reporter that takes civil rights and human rights pictures that knew both King and Minister Malcolm. The government, after they died, put them right there on Front Street. So don't worry about the white man. He's going to always let us know what you're doing and who you're with. He's going to always let us know that. You ain't even got to worry about it. So I tell you, you waste your time and waste my time, right? If you believe that all white people are all good. Now, I may hear you on that, but I'm just not willing to trust my life on it. Not willing to put my life on that. I'll hear you, but I'm not willing to put my life on that. And that's what you got to understand. We are in a war, brothers and sisters. Whether you accept that or not, we're in a war. And this place that we're in is a place of eye-opening revelation, where there's nothing hidden that won't come up. Absolutely nothing hidden that won't come up. It is an eye-opening revelation of who we are and where we are. Eye-opening revelation. And nothing hidden that isn't being revealed now. The question is, will you be ready? When the truth comes forth and we look like fools, you and I look like fools, marching down the street with our soldiers exposed and everything else so everybody can see us. Attack us, jump on us, and kill us. Right? Attack us at different times. We learn a lot of stuff. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. We learned a lot of stuff from the last major campaign of George Floyd that we had. We learned so much. The main thing that we learned is that once people identify they'll get killed. We also learned the same thing in Ferguson, Missouri. They killed Darren Seals, turned around and killed another young brother named Jones. They took him out too, took his life. And so the tides were changing. Things were changing in the world. And when we see things changing, we got to learn how not to conform to these changes, but be transformed. And our minds have to be renewed with a better plan of safety for our people, a better plan of safety, because a lot of us are not safe. We're not safe to be around, and we're just not safe, period. So we've got to get wise. We certainly got to get wise. Now, let me say this, and this is something that we have to learn today. We can't learn because the time is gone now where we'll learn in retrospect. That time is gone. Everything that we learn now, we have to learn it in honesty. We have to learn it in sincerity. Everything that we learn now. So brothers and sisters, we've got to be wise. We got to be steadfast. We got to be unmovable and always abounding in the work of God. The same work that Jesus did, we've got to be doing it. And his work was to give sight to the blind, to make the dumb talk, the lame walk, to make you think, to heal the sick and raise the dead. When your mind is so clouded with everything else, you're buried. And they tell you that, don't they say that you're buried? Right? You're under all of this stuff. You've been spiritually buried, so you can't hear. You can't hear because you've been spiritually buried. And the will and teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad is that you will have sight, right? That if you were blind, that you be given sight. Now the man can't pull any wool over your eye, can't pull any trick. right? Because you're sin. He can't pull the wool over your eye, right? Can't put the cloth over your head so you can't see. But you can see this man for who he is and what he is, right? And he will always use one of us. That's what I'm telling you. Always use one of us. That's part of the algorithm. That's part of the formula for betrayal and assassination, is that they'll always use one of us to do the evil. Always use one of us. Always use one of us. I mean, they had agents in the camp. It's always going to be somebody that you know. Always going to be somebody that you know. And one thing you have to understand is this. The devil will never use anybody to warn the people. God does that. God does that. For anybody to warn the people, make sure that they're on the right road. Only God would do that. The devil would never do it. Now, he'll use people like our brother Soupbone here. He could be trolling some other page or doing something good, but he'd rather be trolling my page. I'm going to leave his stuff up there. I'm going to leave his stuff up there. I'm not going to move it one bit. I'm going to leave it right there. Leave it right there. Because anytime you tell truth, you're going to have some obstacles. You're going to have obstacles. Anytime you tell truth. See, because they'll constantly, that's one of the key figures. Key figures. There are people that don't even know Farrakhan, but he's so seducing that they'll join along with Farrakhan. This is the dead, those that's dead from the neck up. But then there are those that are influenced or seduced by the teaching of Farrakhan, and then you have those other agents that they put in to damage me and you. They'll put them, you could be doing something, and I don't have that many views, probably only 500. Only 500, but that's enough to get a word out. I don't care if it was 2. I don't care if you got 2. That's enough to get the word out so people will hear it and you start warning people. You got to do your best to start warning people about this pending disaster. I'm not the only one that God will speak to. God will speak to you and say, brothers and sisters, you better get your life together. Because if you don't get your life together, God is coming, and will you be ready when God comes? Will you be ready when God comes? So we have to be steadfast in the sense that we know truth. We have to be steadfast. We have to be willing to teach truth. And it doesn't mean anybody's going to hear it. They may not hear it directly. You have some that may know it, but they may not hear it directly. When Noah was warning the people that it was going to rain, nobody believed him. The rain was coming down, right? They didn't believe it. Then the ground started to soak up the water, where the water started building up on the ground. Nobody believed him. Noah's still building his boat. It's raining up to the place where he almost got his boat finished. He's on high ground, right? He's building his boat on high ground. In other words, he had prepared for the flood. Never listen to somebody who has something to tell you and they haven't prepared themselves. Don't do it, because you'll look for direction and you'll never find it. You'll look for directions and you'll never find it. Brothers and sisters, we got to be wise. We have to be wise. In all thy getting, right, get understanding. In all thy getting, get understanding. We have to get understanding. Because the teaching and the message from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you see everything that he brought understanding to the drug addict, to the pimp, to the prostitute, to the people in darkness, to ministers who wasn't teaching right out of the Christian movement, and said, look, the white man's not going to give you peace. The white man's not going to give you money. He's not going to give you understanding. It's something you have to do for yourself. Do for yourself what you're asking the white man to do. You'll have to do it. And if you look That mindset that got in the mind of the Muslim, right? Men and women, when they got that mindset, there was nothing they couldn't do. Anything was possible, right? Because if God be for us, who can be against us? And faith is an action word. Faith is an action word. It's not a word that you say. It's an action that you do. Because you're going to do what you believe, right? Whatever you believe, you're going to do it. You're drawn to it, right? So you're going to do it. But faith will make you act. It'll make you act. Right. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was throwing out seeds of faith. He said, hey, you can do these things on your own because God has given you the power to do it. You don't have to ask the white man. You don't have to ask him. God has given you power. But there are those, just like in Africa, so it is in other places. Just like in Africa, so it is in other places. There were chieftains that sold out. There were tribes that sold out, and all of them didn't believe in the teachings of God. Right? And we know that. We know that anytime you see a Christian church in Africa with American influence, you know it don't believe. And because we don't believe, that's the reason why our children are going through so much today. Because we don't believe. Because we have not exercised faith in front of them to build up. We don't believe. We trust in our money. We trust in our cars. We trust in our clothing. We trust in other stuff. But we have to believe, and that means going out on a limb. Faith is going out on a limb. We have to believe so much that we're not willing to sell out. See, and that's the whole purpose of these shows, that we can have unity. We've got to have unity, brothers and sisters. We got to be willing to stand together. We have to be willing to stand together so much that we're not willing to give up on one another. That's what we have to do. You and I have to do that. You and I have to do that. You'll waste your time talking to foolish people and fussing with them about things they don't understand. You'll waste your time. But to stand up for a universal cause, what is that cause? For black people. Why? Because we're black. Because we're black. And because we're black, the global system of racism, not just the national system as it relates to America, but there's a global system of racism ran by the Western white global power structure. That's a fact. And any organization that we create, any place that we're in, they're going to always come to try to destroy it. I don't care whether it's music industry. I don't care whether it's religious organization. I don't care whether it's movies. I don't care whether it's actors. Whatever it may be, he's going to always get in through somebody. You have to be strong enough to repel the devil, because it's, what does it say? It says, flee the very appearance of evil. Avoid the devil and he will flee from you. Right? Well, the devil got some demons. Black men can be demons. Black women can be demons. They can't be devils. They can be demons. Because you ain't got no power. You looking to the white man for power. And he's not the standard of who God is. The white man is not the standard of who God is. God is much higher than race. He's much higher than that. He's much higher than the white man's plan. See, we got to depend on God, and we got to get on God's side. And I'll say that forever, as long as I have breath in my body, which is going to be a long time. I'll say that. We got to depend on God, and we got to get on God's side so God can get on our side. That's what we have to do. So, brothers and sisters, I'm excited and thankful to have my right mind and to have my righteous mind, and to know that my help coming from the Lord. Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? And it's a good feeling when you can operate in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as was given to him by God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. That when this brother came and met him in 1935, met that gentle brother, teaching this word and a way for the black man to come out. A way for the black man to come out of this poverty. Come out of this oppression. There's a way for you. This wasn't meant for you. This wasn't meant for you. There's a way for you to come out of this. You got to come out, right? You gotta do like Ephesians says, stand therefore in the liberty that you have been made free. Isn't that right? We're free, right? And we have to act on that freedom. We have to act on it. Create our own jobs, our own education. Be familiar with our own race, religion, and culture. Isn't that right? Our own spirituality, where we all come together from Africa. But I'm telling you, judgment first begins in the house of the Lord. And brothers and sisters, some of these brothers and sisters out there is so snowed and so duped until it's unfortunate. Blood will reach to the horse's bridle. But many of them are so used to working for master, they're going to let you destroy what they have, that there'll be a civil war in the middle of the black community before the actual war take upon. And I'm telling you this because God has showed me this. So I tell you because God has showed me. So brothers and sisters, I wasn't going to keep you long, and I don't intend to keep you now. The last thing that I want to tell you is this. Keep your hand in God's hand. You won't have to worry about any agents. Just do your work, because even if they come upon you to take your life, your everything and your life, all that you have belong to Allah. And you fight to keep your life. You fight to keep your life. But stand up for truth and justice all the way. Every day. Stand up for truth and justice. Stand because it's only truth at the foundation and the core that's going to guide you to righteousness. You can't be guided to righteousness being non-transparent or non-truthful. You can't do it. You can't do it. And go to God and ask God to give you the strength to make it right with your brothers and your sisters. That even if you have the thought of offending them, see? Because all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. Is that what they say? That's the way they say it. All skinfolk aren't kinfolk. All that glitter is not gold. But once you find the weak link, pray for them. Get them away now. Get them out of your presence, but pray for them that God will restore them. And God will restore them because of your mercy. That's the way it works. Because this is a rehearsal. Us being down here on this earth is a rehearsal. Right? This is a rehearsal. We have to get it right. Get our minds right. Get our talk right. Our walk right. We have to do that. We have to do that. So brothers and sisters, I pray that I've said something to help you. And I pray that you keep a strong mind. I pray that you will read Message to the Black Man. That this is the premise and the foundation right here. Message to the Black Man. I pray that you will read it. Message to the Black Man in America, because this is the teaching. Message to the Black Man in America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I just want to read something small here. I want to read something small. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, remember, is the key. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the key. I'm going to make sure I type that in too. And then we're going to read what I have here. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the key to our deliverance. Because he is. The truth that he was given will set us physically and mentally free. If we listen to it. If we listen. It will set us free. And as our brother said, yes, the fall of America will too. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the key to black salvation and liberation. And I want to read, and I put that in there for you to have it. And I want to read this to you This is coming from Message to the Black Man, as you can see. And it's going to be prayer service, page 159. I just want to, and that's the second paragraph on page 159. I just want to read this to you right away. And then we'll close out and I'll see you at 10:30. The following prayer shows the complete confidence the apostles and his followers have in Allah. This is the confidence gained through prayer. And the great praise of Allah for his protection and blessings that they enjoy from him daily. I seek the protection of Allah, my Lord, from every fault and turn to him. O Allah, thou art the author of peace, and from thee there comes peace. Blessed art thou, O Lord of glory and honor. Nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah. He is the one and has no associate. He is the kingdom. For him is praise, and he has the power over all things. That's very beautiful reading, brothers and sisters, that if we would simply put it, we would trust in God, he will direct our path. He will direct it. You ain't got to worry about no man directing it. God will direct your path. He will do it. See, we got to start depending on God. There's too many of us depending on man. We got to see what God says. And when we have an organization that's so beautiful like the Nation of Islam, we already have the teachings. All we got to do is grab it and be obedient to it. And husbands will be good wives. Husbands will be good husbands to their wives. There will be good fathers to their children. They'll be great breadwinners, and they'll have their own independent business, right? And they have their own free mind, right? And all of those people together, you can get 100 people together that could purchase land and do something on their own. And all I'm telling you is that Louis Farrakhan is not teaching that. He's teaching everything else except black independence. We have to understand black independence. John Ali, they got in the way of the teaching of black independence. See, that was their job. Captain Joseph, all of them, they were getting away from these teachings. So when Minister Malcolm come teaching the philosophy and teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, then they said, we got to do something about him. So they began to shun him, and then them as agents began to spread it toward everyone else. And why am I getting on the agents? Well, with black people, when you straighten them out or put something on their mind, it's a seed. It may not grow right then, but eventually it will grow. And once it grows, it'll come up to a mighty tree. But your idea, our challenge is to get that into their mind. So brothers and sisters, I thank you very much. If I didn't say it in the beginning, I love you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't be here sacrificing this time. So I love you very much. And I pray that you love your family. I love your families and all of us. And I pray that father, mother, and children will always stick together, right? That's the way God ordained it. And I pray that you will prosper as your soul prospers, brothers and sisters. So you'll be able to build up for yourself some independence. Find some black town that you can live in. Populate those black towns and bring something to that black town so you can build it up. God is calling us to do for ourselves what we're begging the white man to do. You'd be out of your mind, brothers and sisters. Completely insane to think that the white man who works so hard to keep you in chains is going to let you go. He'll never do it. He'll never do it. So brothers and sisters, I say peace be unto you. I didn't say it in the beginning. I say it now. Assalamu alaikum. I love you, and peace be unto you.